What is up, you guys? It's your boy Brando here at the Blue Devil Den, and today we are gonna kick off our top 50 college football teams of the 2025 season. And hey, as a Duke Blue Devil fan, what better way to start off this little mini series that we're beginning, and just go ahead and go with the North Carolina Tar Heels at number 50. And oh my, Bill Belichick leaving the NFL ranks, coaching the New England Patriots. You guys know Bill Belichick, right? Well, now it seems he's going to be coaching the North Carolina Tar Heels coming up for this 2025 season, and that does not go without some type of wild offseason stories. My goodness, he's got that young girlfriend that he's got going on right now, and I'm kind of curious to see how it affects not only the team, but how the wins and losses are going to play out for him and his squad, being the North Carolina Tar Heels. So guys, why don't we lock in here and let's see what their schedule is going to look like and what that record prediction is going to look like too for Bill and the Tar Heels. All right, my friends, we're going to lock in here. The game at number 1 is the TCU Horned Frogs. This game is going to be played in North Carolina. Little 6:30 kickoff Central Time, 7:30 Eastern, so we probably are going to have a night game more than likely. And man, oh man, what a way to kick off the season for the Tar Heels. They're taking on the TCU Horned Frogs. You know what? The Horned Frogs actually had a 9-4 record last year, winning their last bowl game in a controlling fashion. So they're looking to go ahead into the new season with a new head of steam and hopefully getting a win in the Game 1 matchup against the Tar Heels. But guys, guess what? I'm going to pick the North Carolina Tar Heels. Bill Belichick and North Carolina come out swinging and knock off TCU in Week 1. Week number 2 is at Charlotte 49ers, guys. Come on, let's be honest here. This game should be won. It is also up in Charlotte. This one's another win there for the Tar Heels. That's a 2-0 record starting out. And then, hey, Richmond Spiders, watch out. This team could upset them early on, but it's not going to happen. I mean, they really don't have much of a shot, do they? They start the season off 3-0 with a nice little victory there against the Richmond Spiders. And hey, finally, after that vaunted matchup against the TCU Horned Frogs, they suddenly have a second potential upset matchup against the UCF Knights. And my, oh my, do I know a little bit about Scott Frost? You're right, I do. And welcome back to Orlando, Mr. Scott Frost. I am a Nebraska football fan, a Cornhusker fanatic, if you will. And so I know a thing or two about Scott Frost. He ended up failing miserably over at Nebraska, which was quite probably a pretty humbling experience. He kind of had his tail tucked between his legs and went off into the sunset with buku freaking bucks. So I wish you nothing but the best, Scott Frost. I'm so thankful you're no longer our coach. Can he get it done in a second stint for UCF? In this one here, it's going to be a close matchup, and I think this is going to be actually a tougher matchup for them against TCU. Or excuse me, tougher matchup for UCF against North Carolina than it's going to be for TCU. And I think Scott Frost and the UCF Knights lose to the North Carolina Tar Heels in this one. You know what? The first year Scott Frost took over the UCF Knights, in the first time, he had some serious trouble. Second season, it got a lot better, but the third season, my goodness, they were the national champions, right? Wrong. So anyways, UCF Knights do lose this one, and Scott Frost, technically first season back with the Knights. So North Carolina Tar Heels start with a 4-0 record. Nice looking job so far. They're going into Week 5. They have an off week. They're going to dominate that one for sure, being an off week. Week number 6 here, Clemson Tigers, game number 5, and this is a true test here. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. I really do. I'm curious to see how Bill Belichick does. It appears that this game's in North Carolina as well, so hopefully that'll give them a little bit of a boost here, going 4-0. North Carolina likely will be a top 25 team in this matchup if they can get this one done over Dabo Swinney and the Tigers. And watch out, the North Carolina Tar Heels and Bill Belichick are going to be the talk of college football. It'll be the new Colorado Buffaloes like Deion Sanders, but now it's Bill Belichick and the Tar Heels. I don't think they get it done, unfortunately. I think that the train comes to a halt right into a mountain, if you will. I think the Clemson Tigers, though I do think this is going to be a good matchup, I think the Tigers do end up winning by a couple touchdowns at least. And, hey, Clemson's going to have a great season, so that's where I stand with that. So 4-1 going into game number 6 at California. The Golden Bears, this is actually their first true road test. No, excuse me, they played Orlando. They win that one. But, hey, going to the other side of the country, out in Berkeley, California, I think it's going to be an interesting matchup, but I'm going to go ahead and say the Tar Heels are going to win this one on the road, and they get it done in pretty strong fashion. It's a bounce-back game, just losing to the Clemson Tigers, so they are now 5-1 and almost bowl eligible halfway through the season here. Last year, North Carolina did take care of business against the Virginia Cavaliers, and I don't see too much of an issue with them doing it once again. This time, headed by the legendary Bill Belichick. They go 6-1, are bowl eligible after 7 games. Heading into week number 8, though, at Syracuse, could be a tough game. My goodness, they've been to Florida. They've been to California. Now they're heading clear across the country, again in the deep northeast roots of this great country of ours. And they go to Syracuse, New York to play the Orange. Well, guess what? They should not have too big of a problem here beating the Orange, and I think the Syracuse Orange are going to have another bad season down in Syracuse. So I'm going to go ahead and say the North Carolina Tar Heels are 7-1? What? Man, they're having a great season so far. And then they go ahead and play the Stanford Cardinals. This time, again, it's a homecoming matchup. Should pay dividends for the Tar Heels. I don't think Stanford's up to the par of where they used to be and where they'd probably like to be. It's just not the same era since Jim Harbaugh and Coach Shaw are no longer coaching there. So North Carolina Tar Heels, they should have no issues getting this one done against the Cardinals. They are 8-1, and my goodness, they are probably inside the top 20 for sure at this point. You'd imagine. And then week number 9 here at Wake Forest, Demon Deacons. This could be a sneaky little game here, couldn't it? I think we'd all agree with that. Demon Deacons have had some up and down seasons, but they do put up a fight. Now, do they have the right roster to get this done? I don't think so. I think North Carolina is going to be assembled a little bit better. And you know what? As long as this record holds put with being 8-1, I don't see why they would not win this one as well, going 9-1 so far on the season. And my goodness, that's probably a top, I want to say a top 10 team, like maybe 11, 12, 9 or 8, something along those lines. So great first start here for Bill Belichick. And then they go and play the Duke Blue Devils. Oh, this one's in North Carolina again. They're getting a lot of games in North Carolina. And I know that Duke's in Durham. But hey, should be a great matchup. You know, last year, Duke actually beat these guys. Imagine that. Well, guess what? They take another loss to the Duke Blue Devils, and I'm sorry, North Carolina Tar Heel fans, if you listen this long and you know I'm a Duke Blue Devil fan, please don't hate us because you're anus. But it's no offense to you guys. I just think Duke gets it done. I like what Coach Diaz is doing, and I know they got a new quarterback, but the guy can ball out too, so we're excited to see what he can do. And you drop your second game of the season, which, come on, a first season new coach, even though it is Bill Belichick, it's not completely out of the realm. So, hey, if they're going to lose, why not lose to the Duke Blue Devils? Am I right? I think so. So sitting at 9-2, heading into the final, very last week, right after Thanksgiving, is a game away at NC State Wolfpack. This could be another sleeper game. They started their season tremendously strong. And hey, you never know about the NC State Wolfpack. They might have a great season. They might have a poor season. This game's out in Raleigh. And hey, we'll see what's going to happen here. But an away game, potentially a night game on the road, I just think the NC State Wolfpack find a way to get this done and kind of put a little damper to the season, which is going to drop you guys to 9-3 on the year, which, hey, come on, guys. That is not a bad record whatsoever. Going 9-3 with first-year head coach. And again, it's Bill Belichick. But with all of the craziness, with all of the off-season drama that his little girlfriend has brought to him, along with North Carolina, me being not a big fan of them, I think a 9-3 prediction is pretty reasonably well done here in a pretty respectable opinion. So, my friends, tell me what you think in the comments. Did I do a good job? I hope so. This is number 50, the North Carolina Tar Heels. And I think that's a great place to put them. With all the offseason drama, anything could happen. This could be, I think, you know what, let's go ahead and just say this here. The bottom rung for these guys is probably 7-5. I don't see them going any worse than 7-5. I think this schedule is easy. I think it sets up well. 7-5 on the low end. And hey, can we say national title champions winning the college football playoff? I don't think it's that high. But hey, maybe like a 10-2. But we'll say 7-5 on the low end, 10-2 on the high end. So that's what I got here. Again, this is Brando at the Blue Devil Den. Guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can join us as we count down from number 50 all the way down to number 1 and find out who's going to be the number 1 team in the country for the 2025 college football season. Again, North Carolina Tar Heels, number 50. This has been Brando at the Blue Devil Den. We'll catch you next time. Later, guys.